Roger to my man Pro V.
All the way live from University. Montréal. On CKUT. Nobody do it better, dog. 90.3 FM. Gone.
CKUT and the place to be from the bottom to the TOP.
All the way live radio, CKUT 90.3 FM, every single Wednesday from 3 to 5. This is Pro V, and this is the first time in about 2.5 years that I've been here in the studio, getting the claps from the homie on the side, Mr. Craven. Let me bring up your mic, man. Where's your mic? Where's the mic? Speak up, see for it. Hold on. Let me get this right.
CKUT.
What? I'm a little lost, people. I'm sorry. They kind of reset up the studio and yeah, having trouble setting up this next mic. If anybody from upstairs can come down and help me out with this. Oh, okay. Let's do that.
Yo.
Yeah, we're good. All the way live radio, CKUT 90.3 FM. This is Pro V here with Nicholas Craven.
What's good, my G?
What's good, man? So happy to have you. The last time I did a live show here, I was telling you it was with Rain Man about 2.5 years ago. And we're back. Time flew by. Here we are.
Dope shit, man. Shout out to the legends, too.
Yeah,
Rain
man.
Bro.
Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. And shout out to you, man. I wanted to start back with a good interview about some powerful music that's been dropped recently. And yeah, like this summer was the first time to go back to hip hop shows and really enjoy that. And one of the first big shows back was the NYBA Leather Tour with Alchemist, Action Bronson, Earl Sweatshirt, and Boldy James.
Shout out Boldy. Shout out everyone.
Yeah, man. So when I got there with a couple homies, saw you and Stack, and just kept seeing people all throughout the night. It was a magical evening. And then that continued, and that spawned a different kind of night for you. Mm-hmm. So that's where I wanted to take this interview and talk about the newest project, which is the album you did with Boldy James. Fair Exchange, No Robbery.
Fair Exchange, No Robbery.
And yeah, man. So tell us the story, man. Let's take it from there.
Well, me and Boldy had worked before on the Craven N 3 project. We did a joint in late 2021 called Iserman. Had Stack Moolah do the artwork for that joint. Very fire shit. Shout out to Stack. And when the NBA Leather Tour came to town, I hit Boldy up, went out to the studio directly. Shout out to Tragic Studios. And we did Death and Taxes that night, a song that we released in July. And during the creation of that song, we kind of thought about the idea of doing a project. We like how each other's sounds mesh together and the chemistry. So a few weeks later, I was in Paris with Misa and Roger, and it was the week that my album with Akhenaton was coming out, 9 Quarter Part 1. Mm-hmm. And I was out there connecting with people, doing some stuff with I Am. And Boldy called me and said, yo, come to Detroit. Like, let's do the album right now. And I was like, oh, I'm out here in Europe. Like, I could come in a few weeks, like, mid-June or something. Mm-hmm. And he's like, the album will be done by then. Like, you can come for the videos if you want then. And I was like, oh, shit. All right, well, I'll come as soon. Like, I'm in Paris. As soon as I come back from Europe, I'm coming straight to Detroit. So I landed. So on the 22nd, I was in Belgium. I copped a bunch of records. Dropped like 400 euros on records. Went to like 6 different spots in Brussels.
Nice.
Found some crazy stuff. Brussels is a gold mine. And on the 23rd, I flew home. On the 24th, all I did was import all the records onto my computer, Like all the records I got, I just imported them, like the whole records, right? I would just like
let them play,
have it letting it play while I was watching TV and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I had all these records ready. So like the night of the 24th, like when I was in Montreal, I started making beats. And the 25th, I flew out to Detroit with Mike Shab, and we went downtown Detroit, and I had a bunch of fresh new beats, and me and Boldy just went through those, and like half the album is made out of beats I copped in Belgium 2 days before. So we get to Detroit on the 25th. That's a Wednesday. We get there at like 3 p.m. Boldy comes to pick us up. We put some music on in the car. Second beat I play is Town and Country, and he just starts writing. And we just take the highway, get off at 8 Mile Road, stop at a stripper joint to get some hibachi rice and some drinks. And then we just kept driving and writing to the song and seeing a bunch of people. And then around about like 11 at night, we got back to the Airbnb, and Shab had brought his studio and everything. So Shab and Boldy just started recording to my beats. And from that Wednesday night till Friday morning at like 3 a.m, we just worked nonstop. We did 8 songs. Mm-hmm. We did Town and Country, Straight and Tall, Scrabble, Designer Drugs, Six Toes, Monterey Jack, and what, You Ain't No Menace. We did all those 8 songs.
So most of the album.
Yeah, he had already done O Tre 9 before we got there. And then that Friday, we just crashed out. And then the next day, we woke up around 12 noon. And we just, like, rode out in the city and just listened to all the songs. For the whole day, we just spent the whole day just riding around, like, East Side Detroit, around Boldy's neighborhood. He was showing us where he was from, like, his neighborhood, his people, and everything. Mm-hmm. And that night, we went back downtown. We went to the casino. We just chilled at the casino for a few hours and then went back to the Airbnb, and we started working on Power Nap. And the next day, we had to finish Power Nap and leave back to Montreal. And yeah, we had the whole album done, basically. We did another song that I didn't mention that's not on the album, that Boldy had already done one verse before we got there, and we did the other verse in between those 8 other songs. So we do have it. It's just like 8.5 songs to be exact. And that song's like unreleased. We're gonna come out with that soon too. So yeah, that's what happened. Then I brought it back, did the edit. Shab sent me all the stems. I did the edit. I sent it to Robbie Studios, and me and Robbie did the mix together. It took us a few weeks, and then me and Stack Moolah did a cover for it, because Stack also did all the single artwork. Mm-hmm. He did the single artwork for Power Nap and the single artwork for Scrabble. And
there was a lot of, like, I'd seen you in between time, and you were telling me there was a lot of different steps that you guys went through to actually get to the final cover.
Yeah, like the first cover we did, like, it was kind of uninspired. Like, I didn't really have an idea what we should do, and we just had to come with something. I was so, like, busy on the mix and the edit and everything, I didn't really have an idea. So we came up with something, like, we put it together. It was a lot of work. It was more work than any other idea we'd ever come up with. So it was, like, this super, super, like, big workload for something that wasn't even that, like, insane to start with. And when we showed it to Boldy, that was, like, the day I wanted to, like, put it out. Boldy was like, nah, like, I don't like it. And I was like, yeah, I kind of feel him. So I didn't even say anything. Like, you know, like Boldy, he hadn't said a word about anything up to that point. He like really trusted me. That's the only time he ever like
put his foot down and said,
yeah, like, no, I don't. You can do better, basically.
Yeah,
that's how I took it. So as soon as he said that, I just said, no problem. I'll show you something else. And for a few weeks, I had no idea what to do, no idea. And then I was driving. I had a long drive. I was driving for like 4 hours, and I just put the album was fully mixed, ready to go. And I just put it on repeat. I listened to the album like 5 times. And then on Power Nap, he says, after hearing Power Nap like for the 4th time, like in the whole album playing on repeat, he said, off of 4 of Maple. And I was like, off of 4 of Maple. And I remembered when we were like, after we left the Airbnb, Boldy brought us to like, you know, like his family's house, right? And well, like, you know, to like one of his family members' houses, you know. Mm-hmm. And he had some clothes there, and he went to get changed. He came back, and he had a full like Canadian like tourist outfit, like with like big like Canada written on it, and like a big maple leaf on the pants and everything.
Like stuff you'd buy at like the tour, like an old port.
Yeah, and
type
he was
of
rocking
boutique.
it too, and he was like, and I was like, yo, that's fire. He's like, yeah, bro, like I've always loved like the Canadian maple leaf, like the maple leaf logo. He's like, since I'm a kid, I just always loved it. And I was like, wow, that's so ill. So when I heard him say off of For a Maple, I just thought of like the maple syrup can. I was like, oh, that's like Canadian iconography, you know, Canadiana or whatever, like Americana, you know.
Yeah.
And he's talking about syrup, right? So I was like, this is a dope flip.
Perfect. It's perfect.
So I told him, yo, I showed him the can. I'm like, I'm gonna do a flip of this. What do you think? He's like, yeah. So we just did it, and then we just basically did like a straight flip. Like we just had Stack like do it in his style, right? Like the kind of like paper cut style that Stack does, kind of like you know what I mean? Like the cardboard style.
Yeah.
And
you got Shock to do the
you got Shock to do the lettering.
Yeah.
Shock really killed it. That lettering, I keep looking at it. It's so beautiful. It's perfect. Like it's perfect.
The
like,
thing looks like what it's supposed to look
yeah,
like.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like when we sent it to Boldy, he was like, "This is great," and he said, "Make the drink purple." So like the man that's like pouring the syrup, Boldy, when we sent it to him, because it was like really just a straight flip at first, it was just with the title switched and the cardboard. And Boldy said,
because for people listening, there's a man pouring with like a
maple syrup, like
a
on
bucket,
the Quebec
like
maple syrup.
Yeah,
can.
yeah, exactly.
And originally it was white, and he just knew it was drank, and he was like, make the drank purple and trap out the barn. So we put like, you know, we boarded up the windows, made the drank purple, sent it to him. He said, now we're cooking. And then we put it out, and that's, you know, the rest is history.
That's a dope cover, man.
Thank you, man. That's like, you know, I'm racking up like really great accomplishments, and I'm very proud of like what I've been putting out, and that's like that one's a big one for me.
And it's a great album, man. It's a great album.
Thank
and
you.
like I like the way that, because I was listening to the album. I had the private SoundCloud link or whatever, and I was listening to the album before you guys even had a cover.
Pro V.
Yeah, shout out to 80 for that one. And so yeah, and it was just like I heard it, and it was just like, wow, great music. And then when you guys came with, it was like that matched it. That cover matched it, you know. So
that's what I thought too.
Yeah,
and like it came after.
And
right?
now you're telling me the story. It makes even more sense than just a cover looking good, like sounding good with the music, you know.
Yeah,
so.
it came like I didn't even see it like that at first. I was just like, oh, it's just a dope flip, right? And then when I heard the music and I looked at it, it's like, no, like it's like Straight and Tall how it starts. It's just like it sounds like the music that would play like if a movie started with this like image and like you would go into the barn and like they're making maple syrup. It could be the instrumentals to Straight and Tall, literally.
Yeah, man. And on that note, we're gonna get into Straight and Tall right about now. Let's listen to it. Let's give the people some music.
227.
Nicholas Craven, Boldy James,
Hog
Straight
Creature.
and Tall, All the Way Live Radio. All the Way Live Radio, CKUT 90.3 FM. You matter.
You matter.
Here with Nicholas Craven. Let's talk about the interludes on the album, the conversation. Let's hear a bit more history about why that was chosen and who Boldy's talking to, you know?
227 Ball Main. Shout out to Boldy. Shout out to Ball Main. Yo, Boldy at one point in the recording, I think it was after we just done Monterey Jack. Monterey Jack was the 6th track we did and ended up being track 6 on the album too. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, yo, like turn the mic on, like just record this. And he just calls his boy in jail, and he just like talks to him for like 16 minutes. Then they hang up, and he's just like, yo, cut that up, put it on the album.
Chop that up.
I was like, wow. And there was so much in there. And yeah, so I just like chopped it up, you know. And all the beats also that I put behind the interludes are beats that Boldy had chosen that we didn't end up using.
Okay.
Right. So
I was gonna ask you about those little, because sometimes they're talking and near the end or something, you'll hear a little something faintly in the background.
Exactly, and it just so happened that all the beats that he picked that we didn't use were like some of the most minimal beats that we had picked. So like we literally had like 5 beats we didn't use, and we have 5 interludes. It's like everything we picked we ended up using.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, that was dope. And then it really like makes the album for me. Really like connects it, makes it not just 10 songs.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I want to play another track. I want you to pick a track and
Power Nap.
yeah.
Yep. That's drumless song of the year.
Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs sleep tight. The beds bite. Night. Extendo full of sleeping pills is similar to Seroquel.
Off of Fort Maple.
Dog, I'm not trying to be the most modest guy, so I got to tell you, that's drumless hip hop song of the year, 2022. And I had 2019 already, Mozambique Drill with Mach-Hommy Tha God Fahim. I think most people who know that song and know a lot of like drumless hip hop beats can agree I got it that year. That's in retrospect, it's like cemented. But this year, Power Nap might have it. We'll see. We'll see what time will tell.
It's good to be proud of your music, man.
Time will tell.
You gotta love what you do, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Where were we at in the? I don't even know where we were at in the story. We were talking about the interludes, how we just had a conversation with this homie.
And that mixing you were doing at the beginning was fire too, bro.
Oh man, respect.
For sure. Yeah, but that's pretty much the story, honestly. Like, there's not like, as far as the Boldy tape, that's pretty much it. I got people that were in Detroit this weekend shooting a video for Designer Drugs.
Okay.
So we got the Designer Drugs video coming out soon, directed by the Diggers, who are, to me, probably the best guys in the States, them and Revenant. Like, I've always loved their video, their work with Willie, their work with Dark Low and V-Don and everybody. Like, they're just hard. The Diggers just go super hard. They got an ill style. And they went out to Detroit to shoot some stuff, and they sent me a bit of footage, and it's going to be absolutely insane. Like, it's just going to hold, like, it's probably going to revive the album again. Like, this is like the type of promo that people want for the album.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And we're going to try to get more videos done too, but at least we got one coming.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely going to be more, man. Like, it's just natural that it's going to go that way, because
I want to get them.
Like, the music, the reception for the album's been wonderful, and that kind of ties up with the next thing I'm going to talk about. Well, I want to ask you about is now you got, what you've done before is you've had a whole lot of your music pressed up onto vinyl, and this one's going on sale on Friday.
Yes, sir.
So talk about how that came about, and for those vinyl heads out there who want to hear the story, like, oh, like, you could have pressed it anywhere, why would you go press it here? Like, I don't even remember the name of where you're pressing it, but
Near Mint Records is the label, and basically they just offered me the biggest bag and I could get it the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I do like licensing deals for my vinyl. A lot of people, will deal directly with a factory. Like, an artist will directly deal with a factory and order 300 copies of his own vinyl and sell it on tour or sell it through his own merch shop and stuff like that. I don't really have a merch shop and I don't really tour that much. So I've always done deals through third parties. So I'll find there's a bunch ever since kind of like Westside Gunn opened the market with like dope media in the UK with like the OB game and just a limited edition vinyl game and stuff. A bunch of companies are working in that business model, which is paying an artist for the rights to produce that, to like make and sell the record, right? So they'll pay me, we'll agree to like a price and a number of units and a price per unit, and then they'll pay that to me either all up front or in a few payments, and they'll just make the record, put the record out, do all the back end stuff with the, you know. So that's how, like, you know, basically I just shopped it around real quick, and they offered the biggest bag the fastest. And I'd worked with them before for my first and only completely solo Nicholas Craven vinyl, which is a Tabarnak, which came out on Near Mint, which is an instrumental project. My only project
I was like
on
about
vinyl.
a year ago, right?
Yeah, my only project on vinyl that doesn't like feature other people. It's really 100% Nicholas Craven.
And you rap on it too.
Yeah, I spit that hot fire, dog.
No.
Dylan.
Oh man.
But
I had a homie at work who made that joke today. The Dylan. You want to listen to some Dylan?
Yeah, for sure, bro. It's a classic. Shout out to Dave. But yeah, no, it's. So
the second time you work with Near Mint Records.
Yeah, because they believed in me. Like, you know, no company ever wanted to do that with me. It was either like, oh, we'll take a Ransom Craven project, we'll take a
something with a big name on it.
Yeah, Craven N3 that's got all
like, I'm the big name.
Exactly. And they believed in it, and then they offered me a
dope.
huge bag for the Boldy project, so I was like, yeah, you know, fuck it.
And this is yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, and now it's coming out. We got 1,750 vinyl records.
And that's what I want. Yeah, so tell the people exactly what's going on. You're doing different colors of the vinyl.
Doing a bunch of different variants.
You're doing tapes, you're doing CDs.
CDs and tapes. We got in total 1,750 vinyl record copies.
So tell the people about there's obviously a black copy.
Yeah.
And
I wish there was a full purple copy, but there's not. There's like a purple splash copy, like it's like a purple splash in a cup type of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, the stuff's fire. Like Corey at Near Mint really got busy with the variants, and it's looking great. We got the OB strip looking great. Yeah, there's no like vinyl exclusive tracks or anything on this. But we will be probably putting out the instrumental version on vinyl too pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Stack are working on a cover for that. We got a pretty cool concept for the cover. So
like a play off of the original kind of thing?
Oh yeah. It's going to be very dope. It's going to be probably vinyl exclusive too. And
for the people who are listening that want to check that out on Friday, where do they go? What do they do?
We are nearmint.com. We are nearmint.com. I'm going to be posting about it all over Instagram. I think the time is, I'm going to look right now because I don't want to make a mistake, but I'm pretty sure the time that it's going to go up is at 12 p.m. Eastern, so 12 noon in New York,
Eastern,
in Montreal.
Eastern time stand.
Yeah. And
Eastern time. Yeah.
Exactly. Anybody like, you know, out west, like, no, you got to get it earlier. Like,
3 hours.
You know, you got to get it at 9. But yeah, 12 p.m. Eastern, the vinyl drops. We got a lot of good stuff coming. We got some merch coming too. Me and Stack worked on the merch, so we got that coming probably in like a couple days. Honestly, it's going to be fire. Just black hoodies with the cover on the front.
Yeah, man.
And the nutritional chart on the back with the Burrow logo under it. Because it's a Burrow release.
Sign me up.
Yeah, it's a Burrow release. We're kicking it with Burrow. I always want to have a Burrow collab, so we finally got it.
Yeah, anybody out there who's ever seen me in the ODB on the Medicare card t-shirt, that's Burrow.
Classic.
When you listen to Stack Moolah, that's Burrow.
That's how I discovered Stack, was through Burrow.
Okay.
Because of Jesus and Miro. The kid Miro, when they were on Viceland, always used to wear Burrow. So I used to I was following him on Twitter, and I was just like, yo, let's do a collab. And then I knew about Stack, the graffiti artist. And I just found out about this dude, Stack Moolah, who was like somehow really good at digging and making these drumless beats. And I was kind of shook, like, yo, who's this youngin', you know, who's making these crazy beats and that I don't know about. And then when I had a meeting with Burrow, and that's where I realized that Burrow, Stack, and Stack Moolah were all the same person. And yeah.
And he wasn't a youngin'.
He wasn't a youngin'. No, he's a legend, actually.
Big shout out to Stack.
Yeah, no, that's the home team. That's the home team.
Yeah,
we just put out some fire with Rome Streets.
Yeah, we're gonna play that later.
Yeah, we got to play that Brick Lesnar.
And but yeah, man, shout out to Stack for doing some great artwork, and once again, shout out to Shock for doing the lettering on.
Yeah, that lettering is so fire. I can't believe it.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. I want to get into another track, and there was kind of like you guys had some artwork for this as well for the Scrabble track.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like that. Like I feel like you guys should, maybe because you and Boldy did a Iserman 7-inch. Like maybe you guys should do some singles on 7s as well from the album.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea too.
That'd be dope. And Stack already knocked down the Scrabble joint. Like, and let's get into Scrabble. I'm gonna get that here. If there's anything you want to say about the track before we play it, like. Please, why Scrabble? Why,
Because they gave us so many letters. Ducking the alphabet, boys. Eurostep the works. Is the mic still on? Mic still on? Yeah. Mic still on? All right, let's go. What's good? Let's go.
I'm sorry for these 40 pointers in my car, these early.
Never heard a hip hop song like this in your life. Listen to that groove. Shout out to my father for teaching me about the blues.
I'm sorry for these 40 pointers in my car, these one is late for school. We was beefing.
All the way live radio, CKUT 90.3 FM. This is Pro V here with Nicholas Craven, talking about the Nicholas Craven Boldy James Fair Exchange No Robbery album.
Bong bong.
That was Scrabble. And like we just said before, this Friday, 12 p.m., if you want to cop the vinyl, the CD, the tape, $1,750 different pieces. But
exactly, vinyl. The tapes, I think there's 100, and don't quote me on the CDs. It's either 300 or 500 CDs.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be quite the drop. It's going to go quick. You guys saw how those Future Wave vinyls did. Shout out to Future Wave. Shout out to Fuck Rap. They got super busy, so you know how this is going to go. It's Boldy after all. But, yeah.
Yeah, man, I remember the first time I heard of Boldy James, there used to be a website called Mook Life. It was kind of a movement. There was a lot of people involved. Like DJ Buddha Blaze, had maps up in there, doing a lot. It's really too many people, because if I start naming names, I'll forget names, and there's just a whole lot of people involved.
Shout out to Mook Life.
There used to be, a movement. Yeah, man, it was a great movement. There was parties, there was great articles that would come up on the website, and one of the articles that came up one time was about this young rapper named Boldy James from Detroit. And that was the first time I ever heard of him. And then not too long after that, it was, he's dropping an album with Alchemist. And it was like, whoa, okay. Like
my first chemistry set. Got that at HMV on St. Catherine.
Crazy. All of those still open, eh? Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, man. So, I mean, I think the first track I played from that here on All the Way Live was Moochie. You know what I mean? That was a bring it back type of track, It was that beat was crazy. Boldy killed it. And yeah, man, and it's like almost 10 years later, and like here he is collaborating with the Montreal artists and making like a great piece of music that, is not just a whatever thing on the internet. You guys are pressing it up, and it's gonna last forever, and that's a great thing, man. I gotta congratulate you for that,
Thank you, bro. No, it had to happen, and I can't wait to see that cover on a record.
It's gonna look good, man.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
Wait to see it on a sweatshirt too.
Do you know when they ship after the?
Supposedly February.
Okay.
We're trying to make some cans too. If anybody could put me in contact with anybody who prints art on like tin cans, like I need to make the tin cans. And
something reusable. Like it looks like a tin can.
I don't know. I think I might give them to like my friend's grandfather who has a Sugar Shack and just tell him, make me a run of like 100.
Oh, actual maple
food.
Oh, okay. Not like a reusable can that looks like
we're selling
a
maple
can.
syrup,
Okay.
Like the maple syrup. Yeah.
How many people are gonna, actually use it? They're gonna want to just keep it on the side.
You don't open it. You just keep it. It's a novelty thing. I don't know what's like the customs rules for like selling food across the border and stuff, but
Oh yeah, it's true. Huh?
I might fill it up with water. or something.
Something.
We'll never know. But like
that's a good idea, man.
We wanted
That's
to dye I wanted to try to dye the maple syrup purple, but like it might be like the color might be too like heavy already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyways, we're trying out a bunch of stuff. Shout out to everybody with the ideas too. Like everybody's like sees the vision for the merch with this artwork already.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Shout out to Stack, man.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Mike Schaap. Shout out to Jimmie D. Shout out to Chung.
Yeah,
shout out to 80. Shout out to Vincent Price. Shout out to Pro V. Shout out to Magnum.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Montreal, man. Shout out to Busy NASA. Shout out to Kevin Nash. Shout out to Numb Blonde. Shout out to Petit Bum. Shout out to Bibi Bleu. Shout out to BLK. Yo, shit is live right now, man. We're killing it.
Keep going. Insane. Keep going, man. If you have people to
shout out to
man.
Skin Deep. Shout out to J Red. Shout out to everybody, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for real. Just lost what I was gonna ask you, but that's okay. Talking about the merch and talking about the maple syrup.
We're talking about the merch, the maple syrup. It's okay. I'll get it back.
But yeah, it's been a big year though. You know, like this is just the latest release.
That's the thing, and like the last time you were on the show, we were talking about N3. That was pretty much the focus of that conversation. Mm-hmm. And when we were done talking, because I was recording the stuff at the crib at that time, so when we were done, you were showing me basically like the little link for the Akhenaton music, mm-hmm. and we were listening to that together. And then you just before you kind of threw that into the story, you were like, "Oh, I was in France doing this with Akhenaton." But let's get back to that now. So, how did that link come through? Because for me, like from my side of things, it was like during COVID, IAM started doing their show out in France where they were just like I caught on to the show that they were doing that they would put on YouTube, and it's just basically a podcast with them sitting, talking music, talking new stuff, talking whatever.
Yeah, IAM concept.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's when I was like, oh man, like Akhenaton, was talking about the new thing you did with Ransom, and he was giving you high praise, and then the next thing I knew, I see you and you're like, yeah, I'm doing some music with him. And I was like, so let's get into that, man. Let's talk about that a bit.
Shout out to Ransom. Shout out to Détrac. Shout out to a lot of people that were involved in helping that happen. Basically, he had heard of me through Ransom, and then Détrac hit him up when we were making our project to do a feature, and he was down because he knew a bit of my music already, and he fucked with my sound. So Détrac linked up the song and everything, and then we got into contact, and I started talking with him on the phone and stuff, and he wanted to make a project. He just said, hey, I love your sound. It'd be nice to just make a low-key project. You release it on your side, like through Nicholas Craven Productions. We're about to go independent, so we can do a lot more stuff now. We can work with samples again. So he really wanted me to just take the project, put it out the way I put it out. And we ended up making 2 projects, loved them, got some crazy collabs through that, linked up with Jean Jass and Caballero through that. We are like the biggest hip-hop duo from Belgium, basically. They got a few really big commercial hits, and they're super amazing rappers and deep hip-hop heads. Super deep. Their DJ knows about Katola and Chung type of thing, They're super deep, big fans of just hip hop in general. They know everything, mm-hmm. And they're kind of getting back to it. They've even have some work with Alchemist and stuff like that from a few years ago.
Crazy. And
me and Shab went out there. I've been to Belgium twice since we did the Akhenaton song to work with them, and they came and they did Mural Fest here a few months ago in June, and that week they're in town. We hit Tragic Studios twice that week, and we're working on some good stuff. So the Akhenaton just and we're working on the new Akhenaton too. Akhenaton Land Quarter Part 3. That's gonna be coming soon. We're gonna get that started. But the project really opened me up to France, because it came at the same time as me releasing a song with Roger, and Roger's really big in France too, but on a younger side. Roger. Mm-hmm. Kicks it with Akhenaton's son, JMKS.
Okay.
Who's also a hip-hop artist. And so my name started bubbling in those circles, and then I put out 2 albums with Akhenaton, and we got Jean Jass and Caballero on the albums. And now, you got completely separate from those 2 lanes, you got Mike Shab and Jeune Lou, who are super big in France, and then Shab goes to France, and I'm there with Shab in France, and like, and that's the other link. And like right now, it's popping in France because of like the Akhenaton, because of the Ransom stuff, and because of the track stuff, you know. That led me to Akhenaton, and it's just great right now. It's just like that's the new market that I'm like really looking at right now. I worked with like Benjamin Epps already. I got a song out with Jimmie. I'm starting to work with Limsa, Dolny, Mero, a bunch of really Ratsus, Lux, Timeless, Tedax Max, a bunch of ill dudes. You know, they're gonna be, a lot of them are gonna be featured on the project I'm doing with Misa right now, who's a French rapper from Montreal that I've been working with for about like 11 years at this point. And yeah, it's fun, man. The Akhenaton project really like, it's like it wasn't just like an accomplishment for me the way I thought it was gonna, like, you know, like I knew it was gonna be big. It's Akhenaton at the end of the day, but Akhenaton and I Am aren't like in the like modern spheres of like rap talks and stuff like that.
Yeah, naturally it's a different generation.
It's a different generation. Yeah. They're like the definition of like a legacy act, right? And they even told me like they don't even make new albums for like streams or to sell albums. They purely do it just for a reason to keep touring.
Yeah, they've been, for the, you know, people who don't know, they've been making music since like 91.
Late 80s.
But commercially. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
they've
been together since.
Yeah, but they got like music videos from the 80s on YouTube and stuff.
Okay, so
yeah, like the
even
track
further
Elvis
back
and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah,
they go crazy. So like, first of all, it was an honor just because I was doing like, I did a presentation in French class on Petit Frère in like école secondaire, like in high school, right?
Yeah.
And I like one of the first songs I ever listened to, hip hop songs that like helped me start making beats when I was like 12 years old, was Le Retour du Shit Squad by Funky Family, I Am, Troisième Œil, Faflarage. So it's just like all this coming together like was already crazy, but then and like just being able to go out to Marseille and link with him, and him giving us basically like the key to the city to like shoot in the Velodrome where the Marseille Olympic team plays.
Yeah.
And like the football team.
Yeah.
And like go into all these clubs and stuff where they're DJing and like kicking in the DJ booth, smoking weed in the club. Like it's like ill. Like that was already like insane. And then on top of that, it completely opening up a new market for me is just like, it's just the cherry on top.
And what's cool about, you know, French hip hop is they really, not to say it like this, but they really respect their elders and the generation that's like younger. They respect that older generation. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who you didn't think were even watching Akhenaton like that, who are hitting you up based on what you did with Akhenaton.
100%.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. Yeah, why don't you get a track ready from?
I got one loaded up right now because you didn't know I did this. So like we've had an interview since this came out, but I didn't mention this. So this because you know we were talking about Shab and how Shab got the illest joint on the new Westside Gunn Project 10, switches on everything with Run the Jewels and Stove Got Cooks, and I had to let Provi know that I also had a track on the last Westside project.
Yeah.
Not to compare myself with Shab, but just to like, you know.
No, it was to just
to
be like,
to show
it's
how
so
Montreal's
cool
popping
yeah,
right now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
One after the other. And Shab's like, yo, you guys wait for the rap politique to come out. We just did rap politique yesterday, me and Shab. Like, you'll know what this real sauce is once that comes out. But yeah, man, like this is an ill joint that I had the chance to do for Westside Gunn Side B project. It's featuring Mach-Hommy. It's called Rest in Peace Bird Off.
Run it.
Chunky donkeys or the green lobsters.
All the way live radio, CKUT 90.3 FM, here with Nicholas Craven. That was
Rest in Peace Bird Off first by Westside Gunn and Mach-Hommy. And pardon my weak YouTube mixing. I followed it up abruptly with Nicholas Craven and Akhenaton's Jeff Panaclock featuring Caballero and Jean Jass in chronological order, as well as their DJ Escondo at the end, cutting up that classic Prodigy joint.
That's from the Pain joint, right?
Yeah, at the end of HNIC.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked Craven. I was like, "Oh, get an Akhenaton track ready in kind of like in a new tab," and that's why the track got cut off. So
yeah, YouTube. You know, I forgot to open a new tab. I just clicked on it. I was like, oh, and it was too late. That's what it is. We're back. We're back in the studio.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, yeah, we talked about the Akhenaton. Anything else from that France experience that you want to talk about, or?
Just expect a lot of stuff coming. Linked up with some great people out there, and I see the richness in their approach to hip hop in 2022. You know, I've always loved French hip hop. I've always thought American hip hop was better, and I still do. You know, just because of the numbers and the number of people that are doing it, and it comes from there. But French hip hop right now is an absolutely beautiful place, and there's a lot of fun to be had working with these people, for sure.
And is your first language French?
It is.
So did that mean something? Like, did that mean a bit more to kind of get?
No,
like an
they
album,
don't even
like,
understand me out there. I speak in English.
Okay.
I don't even speak in French.
You didn't even speak to them in French?
Some people I have to speak in English in France.
Because your French is just because the dialect is so different.
My French is wild. Because it's like, you know, it's one thing to speak like Montréal, Quebec French, Elmer Gatineau, Quebec French. Yeah, it's not as conventional.
That's dope. That's funny. That's funny. That you would go all the way there and still speak to them in English, man.
Yep. I mean, you know, so is life, but it's great. Still works. And it's like out there, being that I am, you know, French, so that I understand their music and I can still like speak to like most of the like artists I can speak to. It's more like, you know, random people I meet here and there I have to speak in French to. In English too, but like the artists, you know, they listen to hip hop and they know how to, and they already kind of know about Quebec French, so the artists understand me, and it's kind of like if I'm one of the only dudes that's like connected to French hip hop that's actually got his foot in the door heavily with like the American underground scene right now. So, you know, I got a lot to bring to the table too.
Yeah, man. And right before that, you were playing the joint with Westside Gunn. How did that track come about? Is there a little story that we can get about that? The linking up.
Me and Wes have been in contact forever, and that joint actually came through Mach. Mach did that joint with Wes, and I don't know what the original plan was, but Mach decided to tell Wes, like, yo, use this for your album. And then Wes hit me, he's like, yo, Mach gave me a joint for the album. Yeah.
Boom.
Because me and Mach were, well, still are, but like we're always working on new stuff. We're always putting stuff together.
Yeah.
And that was right before Balen Show came out. I guess that's the last solo Mach project to come out. Came out December 2021. Mm-hmm. I produced half the project. That's a hell of a project. Shout out to Fortes. Shout out to Messiah Music, and rest in peace Raz G, who are also on the project. And shout out to Conductor Williams, who's also on the project. That's quite the joint. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Balen Show.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So the N3 vinyl's about to arrive.
No, the N3 sold out.
Yeah, but it's about to arrive.
Oh, it's true.
It just got shipped out.
Yeah, it's gonna be here in the next few days.
Yeah, man.
It's a good fact. Yeah, we sold that out in 8 hours. I was so happy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, 510 copies sold out in 8 hours.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
See, like, if I had to box up all those vinyls and do all the shipping myself, I wouldn't be making enough beats. You know what I mean?
And that's the way you weigh it out. And that's why it's good to have that, you know, the outsourcing of, you know, you have the ability to do that. And that's great, man. It's like when, and we were talking about this the last time, because, you know, you came through, I was working on a Canadian hip-hop website, which is northoftheborderhiphop.com.
Big project.
And you go out there and you can, well, you're not going to see everything, but it's kind of acts as an encyclopedia of Canadian hip-hop on vinyl. And I took a bunch of pictures like of the vinyl themselves, and also the covers and the back covers, and I had to have you come through to bring everything that you've made, and it was almost a crate, man. You know, you had a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just, and like you said, you wouldn't have been able to put that much music out had you been doing it all in the individual, you know,
exactly.
independent it is independent, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not me doing the actual
You still have a third
labor.
party working on the.
Exactly, and like I'm up to like 20 something vinyl releases in my career now.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole game, man. It's fantastic. It's really like, I never wanted to be really part of the music business as a kid. I always wanted to be a musician and like put out good music and to have like great musicians like appreciate my music and to like I always wanted to be like in the history books.
Mm-hmm.
But then the whole industry and becoming popular and all that never really interested me. The thing is, like, the industry that existed for like 80 years, we came in at the tail end. Like, it's done now. Like, the major industry type model for artists, like, it's just so useless now. It has, like, if you're, like, anybody can, like, get it from the mud, their own. Get it out the mud, their own, to quote my song with Mach-Hommy Tha God Fahim. And there's just so many tools at our disposal now, and the approach to the game is so different. You just have to understand what it is and what the climate is, and anybody can get it. That's what's really amazing. Even if your music's not that good, you can get it these days, and you don't really need anybody to do it except you. And if your music's great and you're a hustler, then it's just the best. Because it's just like there's just so many ways to like to profit off of your own art, like these days it's like I make the art for the love, but then my business is taking what I love and then commodifying it, in as many ways as I can. Make a vinyl, make a hoodie. Like I've been doing so much vinyl, I've never even really done merch. Like look at Westside Gunn, he's like merch god, and the fly god for real.
He said this is what I'm gonna do like 5-6 years ago, and just now it was good to see Alchemist really has been doing that as well.
Yeah,
like even the most recent release with Marciano and Alchemist there's just so many things on that merch list, and it's like this, that, the other.
Yeah,
and it's like, why not, man? It's like
selling candles.
People want that stuff no matter what.
Mock selling candles and grinders with the album artwork on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like at the end of the day, I've been like sleeping even on that bag, but yeah, it's just the game is just open these days. It's great. You have to know like how to do it, right? You just have to know how to hustle it. So yeah, man. Fair Exchange, No Robbery vinyl dropping Friday.
Yeah,
that's gonna be insane.
12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Exactly.
So was Craven N was the first vinyl, right? Or was there anything before that?
No, that was the first time I got the chance to put my music on vinyl. Then it was Valenti Rizzuto with Ito. Then it was Craven N 2. Then it was Director's Cut Scene 1, 2, 3, 4. Conway remixes to 1 and 2. And then, just like everything nonstop from there.
Let's go all the way back. Nicholas Craven, Rock Marciano, all the way live radio, CKUT 90.3 FM. All the way live radio, CKUT 90.3 FM. This is Pro V here with Nicholas Craven. Talked about a whole bunch of music so far. That was Mach-Hommy.
Yeah, we played 3 joints right there. We played Rock Marciano, Wolfing Down, produced Nicholas Craven, Wolfing Down featuring Rock Marciano, technically off of Craven N 1.
Yeah, from the first one.
And then I had to put a couple Balin Show joints on. Since we were talking about getting out the mud, I swear to God, I had to play La Boue by Mach-Hommy off of Balin Show, and the following song off the same album, both produced by me, Separation of the Sheep and the Goats. So yeah, shout out to Mach, man, always holding me down.
Yeah, man, you got the shirt on today too.
Got the shirt on today, match it with the polo.
And yeah, man, this next joint that I want to play, I want to give shine a little bit of light on one of the best francophone rappers from Montreal, which is Connoisseur. And I love that track that's on the one that's on N3.
Ooh, Nouvelle Religion.
We're gonna get into that right now. Cause
that's a joint.
Anything you want to say about Connoisseur, or about the track in general before we get that going?
Bucket list, to say the least. That's like the bucket list of bucket lists for Quebec. Like probably the only one I got left in Quebec. Only two would probably be Roynok and Enima.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's like Kenessa was number one on the bucket list for Quebec rappers. So getting on his album already like ushered me into Quebec semi. Like when I got on Normal de l'Est and did Gentleman with him and Baxter Dexter. But then him coming on my tape, bodied it. He came into my world on my type of loop.
And destroyed it.
He destroyed it, absolutely. Shout out to Kenessa, Bloc B.
Yeah, let's get into this. Connaisseur, Nouvelle Religion. All the way live radio, CKUT 90.3 FM. That was Nicholas Craven featuring Connaisseur Tikasso, Nouvelle Religion.
Yeah, man.
And
shout out Connaisseur, man.
Yeah, man, that's from the most recent Craven N, from the Craven N series, N3. So, yeah, next thing I wanted to ask you about was your relationship with Jimmie D.
Jimmie D, the consigliere.
Big shout out to G.
Yeah, Jimmy, dog. J, dog. Me and Jimmy met at like work in like 2013. We were working in a warehouse, and we shared a common love. We bonded over our common love for hip hop, and we started working right around the time I discovered the whole new wave of hip hop, like the Rock Marciano drumless sound and everything. And like
after Reloaded came out, and
yeah, exactly. Actually, when me and Jimmy really tapped in is right when Marcy Buku came out.
Okay.
2013.
Okay.
I heard it, and like me and Jimmy were just like coke rap fans, right? Ghostface, Pusha, Styles, Cameron, you know, that type of shit. So we just like started working on songs. We made maybe 2 songs before we heard Marciano for the first time, and that completely just switched the whole trajectory. And we started working on our project like 2014, 2015, 2016. We put it out. Trout and Brussels Sprouts. That was our first project. And this whole style that I'm kind of known for, I developed with Jimmy. And he was in parallel developing his rhyming style, which is one of the most unique in the scene right now too. He just hasn't really put out anything since 2018. But right now, with everything going on and like our newfound like success, like, you know, because Jimmy's been part of it the whole way through. Like everything that like I've been doing, Jimmy's helped me with. So he was with me at La Disque last Wednesday. So it's just like now with everything going, Jimmy's really motivated and he's rapping better than ever. And we can introduce him as like a new artist. He's got his little like, you know, not little, but he's got his like foundational fan base. And now he can still be introduced to somebody new because he hasn't put anything for mad long, you know. So we're coming through with some fire. We just got 2 joints that we did this week that are just so good. I almost wanted to like run them for you off my phone. I don't even know if I have them or if you have the little gimbal for the aux. But I can play another Jimmy joint if you want. Another
let's get into that.
Joint.
We can look for it in the meantime.
That like this is like something we did since he released his last album. It's like a single we put out. It's called Linked In, and it goes a little something like this.
Shut the fuck up. Dad told me pour some Asian shit.
All the way live radio, CKUT 90.3. Let's talk about Ransom.
Shout out to Ran, man. He really like, you know, I would say that Jimmie D, the God Fahim, and Ransom are the 3 people that helped me like get the biggest pushes in my career, right? Mach-Hommy really helped too. This Boldy album is like out of here. But like really, like all of this, I gotta give to Fahim and Ransom. And me and Fahim, we've been getting busy since like 2015. And Randy came like 5 years later, right? Like 2020. And it just like I'd been kind of like building and like going up, like, you know, step by step for like 5 years. And then when I did the 5 projects with Ransom, he made me skip like 50 steps in like one jump. Like, we were out of here. We put out 5 projects, bro, in like 1 year.
And tell the people how that all began and how you guys linked up.
So after Craven N 1, I was not ready to do Craven N 2 yet. So I started thinking what I could do, and I thought about doing an EP with Ito. So I did this EP with Ito. Shout out to Ito.
It's funny because I have an Ito track lined up right now on the table. So,
yo, shout out to Ito. He really helped in this too. Like everything helped. Like. Everything happened for a reason. Everything that happened like led to something else. Like it's just like that. You just got to work with as many people as possible and just like good people that are like loved. You know, oh, the life cut out. But anyways,
you're nearing the limit of recorded music.
Yeah, because we got Instagram live going. We got the double media stuff going right now. Let it go. Just you know, whatever. So the album came out, and off that album with Ito, I got hit up by Dark Low. And Dark Low was like, yo. You know, him and Ito share a manager, so he heard the album and he was like, yo, this sound is crazy. And I started working with Low. Me and Low put out a joint in 2018 called Win a Grammy, which is one of my best songs. Like, it's super underrated. Not a lot of people know about it, but it's one of my best songs called Win a Grammy. And another thing that came from the same stem as the Dark Low from the Ito album was Ransom. Dark Low hit me up because of the Ito album, and then Ransom hit me up. And Ransom, it's because he's a friend of Ito's and been working with Ito's for years. And he said, I heard the tape, your stuff is great. I'm retired right now, you know, I'm A&Ring, but shoot me some beats. I got like the session with like Smoke Dizza, right? And I'll play him some beats and stuff like that. So I used to shoot beats to Ransom for him to shoot and like pitch them to rappers. Yeah. And nobody was really taking the beats, but Ran really liked it, and he really had a vision, and he really knew that like we had to like, you know, keep working. This is like December 2018. So by like March 2019, you know, it's Ransom. I'm in contact with him. He's asking me for beats, and I'm in my mode. I'm buying verses and stuff. And now I'm getting closer to doing Craven N 2, right? It's been like a year since the Ito project. So I asked Ran, yo, like, I know you're retired, but like, let me just like cop a verse. Like, how much for a verse? And he gave me like such a ridiculous price. I paid it on the spot. And he sent me the song back a few weeks later while I was in Atlanta working on The Myth Who Never Quit with the God Fahim, which is our first like full-length project together. And the song Ran sent me was The Reaper's Hood. And when we put that out as a single, the critical response was so great, and people were so happy to hear a new Ransom song, which they hadn't heard in like 2 years. That Ran hit me and he was like, all right, let's do an album. So we did like a whole little EP in 2019. We basically scrapped it. It became deleted scenes, most of it. Okay. The other half of the album, he reused the verses for other things, and we just like scrapped the songs. But the first version, we scrapped it, and then 2020 comes around, and before the pandemic starts, like January, he's like, okay, I got the album. And he's like, he's got Director's Cut 1, like the 4 songs. And he's like, we're gonna do 4 songs, no. And I didn't really know about the 4 songs thing. I was like, dude, we just like worked on all this stuff. You scrapped all these great songs. Like, you just want to put out 4 songs. But I didn't say a word, because at the end of the day, like, when I work with a guy like Ran or Akhenaton or Mach or Rock or anything like that, it's like these guys inspired me. They got me to where I am. So
you want to follow their lead.
I got to follow their lead. Yeah. Like, they know more than me. They got a higher IQ than me in this game. A lot of things that they might do that I might disagree with because I ignore certain information that they know. You know, so I always let the guys lead. Yeah. Right. Unless like I work with somebody and I'm like, yo, he wants me to lead, or like we agree that like I can lead, or we're both gonna lead. Like, if it's just like me working with someone, I just let them lead usually, and especially someone like that, you know. Yeah. And then we put out deleted scenes. Director's Cut, March 9th, 2020, and it was just insane. I never gotten a critical response like that for a project, and it was 4 songs, no features, just my beats, Ransom rapping, and Joe Budden went crazy for it on his podcast. That led me to connecting with Parks, who mixed like Craven N 3 and a bunch of joints for me, like 1,000 Mile Stereo, Rock Marciano, and yeah, from there on, it was so good that Ran was like, all right, part 2 coming up. So March 9th, we dropped Director's Cut. Then April 24th, a month and a half later, we dropped Director's Cut Scene 2, featuring Ito and Chez Noir. This time 6 songs, if I remember correctly. If not 7, but I think it's 6. And then we dropped Director's Cut Scene 3, which was like the LP of the series. I believe that was August 14th, I believe, if I remember correctly. And that was like 10 songs. We had Rome Streets on there, 38 Spesh, Mussolini, RJ Payne, a bunch of crazy spitters. That tape was insane. And then we dropped Deleted Scenes. That was November 11th. I'm pretty sure that was on Remembrance Day. And then we dropped, I think December 7th, we dropped Crime Scenes. So we just like dropped nonstop, right? And from there, like, I had Kevin Durant sharing my songs. I had Andrew Wiggins.
Let's talk about that, though. Like,
yeah,
can't just throw that out there.
Yeah, like Kevin Durant shared 2 of the Ransom songs. Andrew Wiggins started.
So he must have been
a
fan of Ransom.
Yeah, but I bet, like, you know, a lot of guys from that generation, like, Ransom's like basketball music.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of music you really bumping, like, outside, like in a park, like loud, like some old mixtapes, like, you know.
And I know what a lot of people appreciated from your project with Ransom is that it came at a time where he was just not on anybody's radar whatsoever.
Completely retired, basically.
Yeah, and you know.
Yeah, no,
that's great, man. Big shout out to you for having. You know, the music is basically what drew him out of that. You know what I mean? It wasn't you trying to convince somebody, like, convincing somebody with words. It was like, no, man, like this, I have to give this life. Nobody else is taking these beats. Somebody's got to like complete this. You know. And
thank you, bro. Because that culturally is like the thing I'm most proud of ever. Probably, like, I really feel like I did something for the hip hop culture. Like, I contributed to hip-hop culture with that one. Like, I helped hip-hop culture get Ransom back. And look at him since. He's been going crazy. And, like, I'm not only, like, blowing smoke out my ass. Like, he's on record saying that the reasons he got out of retirement were my beats and 38 Spesh's motivation. And 38 Spesh explained to him what the new business model was. And he just came back with a vengeance. And he's rapping better than ever. But, yeah, no, it's... like, however I helped him, it helped me like tenfold. It put me in a different stratosphere. So that's like the type of album that really got like the OGs fucking with me. You know. So yeah, shout out to Ran. We got to link up. I haven't even met him in person yet.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. But like, we're still like, I sent him a pack this morning. I talked to him this morning. Like, it's like me and Ran are in constant contact. We're always working. But that's like the priority with us. It's just getting stuff done. And I guess none of us have, neither of us is entirely satisfied with what we've done at this point. Like, yeah, we did 5 projects in a year, but nobody said really that like, well, a few people did, but like, we want unanimous, the best project of the year was Director's Cut Scene 3, right? So we're in the lab right now. Director's Cut Scene 4 probably coming pretty soon. And we're trying to make like the best album in the world, like of all time. We're trying to make like a hip hop classic. And until we do that, we're not going to be satisfied. I don't think. So yeah, shout out to Ran, man. It's I got the most amazing team right now. I got the most amazing different branches going out of my career. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and even Boldy. I talked to Boldy the other day. He's talking about he wants to get Fair Exchange No Robbery 2 started. So, you know,
yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna do for the album cover, but
that'll be another whole brainstorm.
Exactly.
You know, we were talking about Ito. Yeah, Ito, somebody who was coming out with some dope underground stuff, and shout out to 80 Rock. 80 Rock was like, yeah, man, I wanna do a track with Ito, and he
80 was the first.
Yeah.
80 did his track even before me, and he let me use his track as a bonus track for Valenti Rizzuto.
Yeah, he told me that. He was like, before it was, he's like, oh, Craven hit me up and want to add it to the EP and do a remix, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, just, yeah, like, looking forward to that. And then You guys, it also came out on vinyl, Valenti and Rizzuto.
Yes, shout out to Tough Kong.
Yeah, man, out in Italy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. How many projects did you put out through them?
That's the only one, but I really like their work. They're like some of the big guys out there, and
they still distribute your stuff as well. Like I feel like they still have.
I don't know if they still have. Well, probably maybe they have some other records of mine from like Goodfellas like available on.
That's what I mean. Like they still support. Like
oh yeah, no, they're the homies.
You know what I mean.
They're always interested in new work too, so I always pitch it to them. It's just that they've like blown up. They really do their thing now. So I think that if I really want to get something with them, I should hit them like 6 months before it comes out, type of thing, so that we can like release it with the vinyl release. Kind of synchronized. Yeah. But they're super great. I love them. Shout out to Tough Kong.
Yeah, man. Gonna get into I think it's Vendetta from the Ito
Mega Choice
Nicholas Craven track. So let's get into it. All the way live radio, CKUT 90.3 FM. Nicholas Craven, Styles P.
D Block.
The Locks, man.
Yo.
The Locks.
Shout out to Fortes. He helped me link that up for Craven N too. I needed a big joint in. He got me Styles P. Pinero himself.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Holiday.
Did you see Locks live like many years ago?
Never seen them live. Never. I
they
know
did
they
a
came
show.
to the city. I think they played in like the Forum. Like
there was a club in the
14.
Forum, and that was a good show.
Yeah, I missed it.
That was a good show, man.
Yeah, I remember that though, vividly.
And yeah, you said so. Yeah, this weekend I was out of town. I went to Toronto to go watch a documentary on Play the Record.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a record store in Toronto that's been there for about 30 plus years,
Nice.
So it's really like an institution over there. And it was, the doc had all these like Canadian artists in it. So it was, what I missed this weekend was the Meth and Red show. And you told me you went, and I was like, all right, I'm going to ask you later while we're on, so we got a little bit of time left. Let's, how was it?
I'm a Wu-Tang like religious fanatic. Like basically,
Yeah.
And
tell the people what that means exactly.
well, like if I'd ever get a tattoo, I'd get a Wu-Tang logo. My whole like production style is based off of what I consider is Rock Marciano perfecting something RZA laid down. With like Hollow Bones and Rainy North Star and all those types of joints, a lot of Bobby Digital joints and stuff. Like it's a really RZA style, this whole drumless style, right? And Redman's like top 10 rappers to me, right? Meth is not top 10 to me. I'd put Meth top 20 as far as like output, discography, all that. Red is top 10 to me. I've always wanted to see Redman. But like, I'll be honest with you. I love Meth, I love Red, I love Wu-Tang. I'm not the biggest fan of Meth and Red. Like the brand, like Blackout, like Blackout 1, Blackout 2. I love the song How High. I love the features like Do What You Feel on Muddy Waters and stuff like that. But I never really got down with Meth on Eric Sermon beats. Like it was never really my bag. I don't know.
Okay.
And Blackout 2 I wasn't crazy about either.
Even 4321?
Yeah, 4321 is an LL Cool J song.
Yeah, but that's an Eric Sermon beat.
Well, that works. That works.
Not a lot of people know, because it doesn't sound like an Eric Sermon beat.
That's a good point. Now that you say it,
I was just playing with you on some hip hop.
They played it at the show.
Oh, yeah.
All this to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen backstage. Like I know about how they got down on the Hard Knock Life tour. I know like that they're amazing performers. I saw the verses. But I almost missed the show. I almost didn't go to the show. Just my friend was like, yo, like, I got 2 tickets and I'm trying to get rid of them. I'll give them to you for cheap. So I just went with the homie. And, I would have, like, if I would have found out it was that good and have missed it, I would have been so pissed. It was, like, magical. Like, I've never seen a duo of rappers, like, interact like that. It was just the most amazing thing ever. Yeah, no, it was, like,
they know
fantastic show. They started with, like track 3 was Time for Some Action, it was like that type of vibe. It was like heavy. The
first time I saw them was at Rock the Bells in 2009, actually in Toronto.
So that's Blackout 2 era.
And because they're very competitive. So at the Rock the Bells, it was headlined by, it started with Farside. The whole group was there. De La Soul, Rakim Kid Capri, Nas, Mos Def, Method Man and Redman, and it was headlined by a Tribe Called Quest. And they're so competitive that they were like, look, man, everybody's in the back right now. They wanted the arena to make the most noise for them, like more than anybody else, you know? And it was just, the show that they put on to get that out of the people was you know.
I believe it. No,
every time I've seen them since, it's been the same thing. Like I've seen them like 2 or 3 times since, and it's always.
That was my first time at l'Olympia.
Okay.
I'd never seen a show there.
I seen them there one time I saw them was there. I was opening with Full Course. That was a fun time, man. Cause I got to watch the thing from the side of the stage. So I was like, oh, this is a whole different experience watching the show from here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man. So
yeah, no, it was insane. I was just so happy. Like I had like an outer body experience at that show. It was like really great. Like he played like I'll Be That, Pick It Up. I think he did Pick It Up on the Keep Rising to the Top loop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Who was DJing for them?
Mathematics.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. A lot of math. Throwing his shoes off while he's juggling. It was crazy.
Oh, he had a moment like that?
Yeah,
a little DJ moment?
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. They had Street Life there too. They had to. It was
they
great.
brought him out?
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, man.
Rest in peace, Tame One. Rest in peace,
Yeah.
Hurricane G. That's so crazy that happened after my first time seeing Redman too.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean?
You know what? We got to play Wrong Side of the Tracks right now.
Yeah, let me
yeah, run that
really quick, man. That shook me, man.
And then after that, we'll play the Redman with Hurricane G.
Man,
because everybody knows her from that. And
I don't even know how, like, it was so abrupt, and both of them too
on the same day. It was
it
very
makes no
odd.
sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, rest in peace, Tame One. Shout out to Elda Sensei. Wrong Side of the Tracks, classic by Artifact. Shout out to Mike Shab. I know that this impacted him a lot. So here we go.
All the way live radio, CKUT 90.3. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's a few minutes left. We're here with Nicholas Craven. Been talking about all his music, all his releases, but one thing I don't want to forget to mention again that we already talked about before is Nicholas Craven and Boldy James dropping this Friday at 12 p.m. Near Mint Records.
Exactly. And let me plug a few other things real quick.
Yeah.
Mike Shab, Nicholas Craven project dropping top of 2023.
All right.
Fully produced by Nicholas Craven, all rap by Mike Shab. This is his first project that's produced by someone else because he usually does all his work.
Mm-hmm.
I got a show.
Suicide is all produced by him.
Yeah, Suicide is all produced by him except one song by me and one interlude by Grimdoza.
Okay.
And I got a show coming at the Belmont next Wednesday, so a week from today.
Okay.
I'm doing a show for Empel Montréal.
Okay.
It's set with a few other artists. I've got like an hour and a half at like 11 o'clock. Yeah, it's going to be hype. It's going to be a nice little party. We're going to have a few friends with me there. Going to be playing a lot of good joints. Going to just have fun. You know, I'm up there for like an hour and a half, just getting busy.
Next Wednesday at?
Belmont at around like 11 p.m., I guess. Mm-hmm. You know?
And you know what time the event starts at?
I think the doors are like at 7. Don't quote me on that. I don't have it in front of me.
Oh, yeah,
but there's a couple really good artists before me too, so don't miss out on those. But yeah, I'll be coming on at around 11. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fire. So I'm getting into my live bag now. So that's new. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah, man. I remember when you were about to get ready for that, you were like, "Oh, what do you DJ off of?"
Yeah, exactly.
Have any suggestions for the portable situation?
I'm gonna have to make you come through and teach me a couple tricks too.
Yeah, well, that'll be on the tables, but I know you got your nice controller set up.
Oh yeah,
and that's good, man.
Because it's like basically a Serato. It's got 10-inch vinyls on it. Like it works just like a table, you know.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to promote or push? I think I want to end the track with the new Westside Gunn produced by Mike Shab.
Woo!
Because we were talking about that earlier.
Do you have it loaded?
Yeah, I got it here. But you know, while I'm loading it up, why don't you just anything you want to shout out, anybody you want to shout out? Here's the time. You know?
Shout out to Mike Shab. Thank you to him and Stack Moolah and Jimmy and everybody contributing to keep me motivated and having fun in the city making hip hop. Shab is next up. There's only one better hip hop artist in Canada apart from Mike Shab, and he just dropped an album with 21 Savage, so go check that out. Because Shab is the
Who's the other
prodigal
artist?
son.
Who's the other artist?
The one who just dropped with the 21 Savage there. You're not familiar? The boy.
The boy.
The boy.
I was hoping you were gonna say it, but I was just seeing what you were gonna say next.
The only artist better than Mike Shab in the country, and that's just if we're talking, like objective results. Shab is the
But
creative.
subjectively, that's not your favorite. You said in our last interview, you were like, I got all my chips on Mike Shab.
All my chips on Mike Shab, and
that
everybody
was
in
a
the
year
city.
ago. That's exactly what you said.
Everybody in the country should do the same. Put all your chips on Mike Shab, man. We're coming. Shadow Moses, 2023.
But yeah, man, thank you, Nicholas Craven, for coming through. Like I said at the beginning, this is the first all the way live show live in CKUT in about 2.5 years. Last time I was here was with Rain Men, so shout out to them and shout out to Yuri. Did a whole lot of shows in the meantime, a whole lot of interviews, but happy to be back in the studio and happy that you came through and we just had a great talk and learned a lot of people learned a lot about your music just now. So
no doubt, man, and
great,
I'll be
man.
back, man. I always love it here. This is like home now. This is like the default interview I got to do.
And next thing, either you bring the controller thing or you come do a set on the tables next time. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
Yeah, man.
No doubt.